Final Fantasy 15 is fucking here. 10 years over, it's here, we've got it, we've played it, I've played it. Amazing, fucking amazing. Spoiler free review, spoiler free, no story discussions, no.
He says this.
No gameplay, like I'll talk about gameplay, but not like, no story events, unless the story events that you've seen in trailers. What else would I not discuss?
I will probably play this game when the price drops because I'm cheap. But I've got some questions from a technical point of view to ask Luke.
Well, let's get the quick, what it's like review out the way first, and then I'll ask you things like, so starts off,
he's happy.
Most people have probably played it at the beginning, the Japanese demo that came out the other week, or if you haven't, you've seen it, where it starts off exactly how the Kingsglaive film ends, the car breaks down, you're pushing it. It is, I'll be honest, right, the graphics are beautiful, but it does not look like a game that's been in production for 10 years. Like, Uncharted, it's not Uncharted level at all, which it should be after 10 fucking years. I mean, I know it hasn't been completely 10 years this game's been getting made, because I know after like a certain amount of years it was a PS3 game, it got scrapped, and then they've restarted the game, getting rid of the whole versus 13, and now it's just 15.
And then
so we've been waiting 10 years.
Aye. Well, that's been a big wait as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, just as long, really, if not longer. PlayStation 2, Kingdom Hearts 2, the last number title. There've been titles since then, like on the DS and stuff, like little filler games.
That's a long time to wait for a game.
But for 10 years, it should look better. It should look like Uncharted level. It doesn't, but it's fucking still beautiful. Like the draw distance is perfect. Like there's no like major. There's been kind of few like reports of problems on the PS4 Pro, but a lot of people don't know. So if you're getting the game early, right, the patch that you're downloading now, the 7 gig patch, is not the day one patch. It's a test patch, right? The main day one patch, the Crown update, going live for the day one. So what you're playing now, if you're getting it early, you might want to start a new game because you might have missed some shit, some cutscenes or something like that, right?
As if they're naming the patches.
I know, the Crown update. They actually, at the IGN event the other day, they asked him a question about the patch. Hajime Tabata, the director, and he's laughed himself, says we probably could have thought of a better name for the patch than Crown Update, but
to be fair, it's better than like 1.1 or 1.01.
Yeah.
Or
like the Kingdom Hearts stuff, 2.1.5, 2.5, 2.8 chapter prologue.
It's definitely like they call it, just it's a hot fix. We're fixing things we should.
But anyway, the game, we're here. It starts off, the game is absolutely stunning. The combat system, if you're a fan of action games, you're gonna love it. If you're a fan of Kingdom Hearts, you're gonna love it. If you're a fan of turn-based stuff, you're not gonna love it. Which I don't get though, because like it's like as much as I love turn-based Final Fantasy, right, the old Final Fantasy, the PS1, the SNES days, like even like 10 and like the PS2 days was still pretty like 12 was like a lot like had an MMO feel. 10 was still sort of turn-based, but it's like they're good, but it's 2016. As good as this game looks, why would you want to waste the characters and the abilities just like sitting, like waiting for like attack, magic, and like all these effects that he does when you're fighting, right? There was like a video I put on Twitter the other day, right, where the attack animation, I've just got my normal sword equipped, right, the normal size sword. You lunge forward, like how the battle system works is you hold circle and that attacks, but the way all your different ability comes in is depending on how you move the thumbstick. So I was attacking, held back on the thumbstick, and he did like a backflip, half a backflip, zoomed forward, started smashing, and then dodge is square. So you hold square in and you dodge everything, but it consumes your magic. So as soon as your MP is gone, you can't dodge no more. Right?
Oh, right, okay.
So what I was doing is...
It's still tactical based then?
It's tactical thought to it. It's not just like simple, like... this and that.
I had a conversation with my youngest, and I had to explain because we've seen the poster, I've showed him the trailers. He's not excited about it. It's not made for him, like. But when I had to explain to him what turn-based fighting was, he was so confused. And the only reference he could put it against was Pokemon. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like I don't know any other games that are still running a turn-based fighting system, which.
I mean, kind of, it's like...
Would you not like the option to swap between
basically 3DS games.
Yeah. Would you not like
or indie games, like the Child of Light the other year, that was like a UbiSoft game, and that was like turn-based, but that's because it's more about, them kind of games is more about the story, now.
Well, yeah, they are.
And like they're using like for old fans, but they're not going to make a big budget game like this now. Turn-based. I'm sorry to tell you, as much as you fucking love it, get over it. It's not happening. There's no way all this money's going into games now for because as soon as you start this game, right, the first message that comes up on the screen when you put this game, it says a Final Fantasy for fans and first timers because we grew up on turn-based games, but there's a fucking new generation out now, like your kid, my kid. And if you give them a game after they've been playing Call of Duty for years, and you really think your kids are gonna fucking want to sit and wait to make a move? No, are they shit? No. As much so, I love Final Fantasy as much as it. It's exactly my biggest love in the world. But I'm telling you now, right? Every single one of you's out there who keeps fucking saying, it's turn-based, I'm out. Fuck off then, because it's as much as I love them games, this is not the fucking year we're in. So you have to just get used to it. But anyway, as I was saying, so this battle animation, you lunge back, does a backflip, does a half a backflip, lunge forward, and then this tail was going to hit us like a scorpion stinger, so it stopped attack and held square, and in mid-air, this tail swooshes and he does like sort of like a disappears barrel roll over the thing in mid-air.
Right, so you don't have to be in a particular position to launch a dodge attack.
Don't just think you can play this game
a dodge
attacking and just like getting away with it, because you need to learn how to when to dodge and parry attacks, because you can't. It's not one of those games where you can just take the beating, because your fucking health is just going to be running out all the time. Like when you run out of health on this, you go into a stasis mode, so you don't die, but you can't do anything, and you're like, oh, help. So you've got to wait for your other teammates to come, and they'll come over and be like, you got this one, kid. Good impressions. And then, then your health back, but while you're in that stasis mode, if you get hit, then your maximum HP shortens.
Right.
Your overall HP is going
down. And as you level up, does your maximum HP increase?
So you've got items in that after the battle, so you can like put your max HP back.
Wait a minute, that's pretty brutal, that.
Yeah.
That is pretty brutal. So when you say learn how to dodge, you're going to have to actually learn how to dodge.
Because you get a couple of chances.
Because I was not going to be dodging.
Even when you're in that stasis mode, if someone comes and saves you, say you had 1,200 HP, if you're getting hit in stasis while waiting to get thing, you might only have 600 by the time you're back, so then you've got less chance to dodge next time. And then when you get to 0 that time, which hasn't happened to me yet, so I can't comment, but I'm guessing that's like game over. Right?
Game over, load from a checkpoint.
Load from a checkpoint, save point. But there's another good thing about
this. You can
save anywhere, like literally anywhere. Saves there all the time. So
that was a nightmare 9. You'd be like, you'd be panicking, you run around for like ages, and you're like, I don't even fucking find one of them. Kubo fucking, where is he? Where is he? It's just like Resident Evil. You're just like, it's got to be a typewriter somewhere. It's got to be a typewriter.
I'm sure I've just been playing something that had save points, and I was a bit like, God, I don't miss this.
I like the idea of saving. It makes me feel like it's in there.
Damn,
like
I can't even think what it is.
Auto save games, right? Freak the shit out.
Auto save horrible, because I've got a bad experience with that. Oblivion back on the Xbox 360, mid underwater, right, running out of, couldn't find anywhere to go for air, died, and then when I auto saved, auto save, I was already halfway to dead, and there was just no, and I was just like, well, there's fucking 60 hours I'm not getting back. So I'm not a fan of auto save.
Are we ready for questions?
Go on then, give some questions. I'll go back to some stuff after.
Yeah, ready? Does exploring the game feel rewarding, or does it feel like your time's better spent just doing tasks?
Very fucking rewarding, because it's like you could play the whole game just going straight through, like just ignoring everything and just play the story, you'd be fine. Right, maybe you need a little bit of leveling at some points. Right?
How many hours are in that take?
40, 50 it's been told. I'm about 25 hours in, about halfway through the story. Right. But I've been told the main story is around 40, 50 hours, but you could do both, like as you say, if you want to walk off, right, these areas are huge, and there's caves, like underground tunnels, there's weapons all over, there's just shit like explore. There's like...
Well, the answer leads me into how open is it in compared to other traditional games. So, other games like Skyrim, which are open world.
It's like, I'm going to put it like...
Or do you have the invisible wall? Is there an invisible wall? Like, whoa, nah.
These areas, right, starts off... There. The first area you're in, right, everyone who's played the Judgment Disc demo will know, right, it is massive. And there's like, later on in the game, everyone knows you can get your car to fly, but all these areas are sectioned off, but not by load times like The Witcher was. This is all like, you drive through, like, it's like, you know, like in our area, like big underground tunnels. Like, you know, underground tunnels.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that, you go like into a different area, you'll drive it, but later on in the game, once your car can fly, you lift up in the air, and then all them areas are there. It's like, where you can see, you can go. But there is a point in the story, right, where you're not locked out from everything, but for the first half of the game, it's open world, you can go wherever the hell you want. But there's a certain point when the story gets to like an arc, and then you can only progress with the story.
Yeah, because the game developers are going to want you to actually
Because it makes what he said. It makes sense at that point where they wouldn't be walking off like something big will happen. You don't want someone to die in the story. I'm not saying anyone dies. This is an example. If someone dies and then all of a sudden it's like, oh god, no, right, I'm gonna go and ride a chocobo for 10 minutes. That just wouldn't happen. But it doesn't mean you're locked out, so you can go back to the other areas. In like, so I won't like spoil that bit, but it's not blocked out completely.
The other question was load times, but you've answered that. And the other question is, because you're saying, because the advertising is as a Final Fantasy game that isn't just for Final Fantasy fans, but for new people. How worthwhile is the story, and is it worth people who aren't into traditional anime to actually play?
Very. Because the story is like on point at the minute. Like, 'cause that was my big thing.
Because back in the day, I didn't want to jump into like 7. You talked me into 7. 8. I think I bought because I enjoyed 7, and then 9 because I kind of enjoyed 8, and then after that I just didn't bother. I never played any of them after that. But like, even making that leap into playing to 7,
which is probably where you made your bad point, because as much as I love the 3 PS1 games are my 3 favourites, but for someone like you who's not get thriving off the JRPG, 10 onwards was for you, because that's when the voice acting kicked in and you weren't sitting reading text, and the battle system got a bit more.
That's the thing, I didn't mind reading the text, simply because previous to that, at the age range we were when we played 7, we were playing Pokemon games, which was consisted of
Flash Shocks.
Yeah, Flash Shocks. But say like a Pokemon game still consisted of so much text to read. It was quite impressive on small, and it was even more mental when you got to a disc. But I couldn't make the leap into playing one of them games because I saw that game as an anime game. But I'd never get into wasn't into anime.
Well, the story in this, right?
At that age, so anyone who is going to be into anime is going to jump in and go, right, that's class. The characters look mint. The costumes are amazing.
Even people who aren't, this is like the kind of thing where like, if you're into like, I'm not comparing this, but like, you love your films like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, like, this is like it. This is a big adventure story where it's like, it starts off and like there's all these twists, turns, and like there's bits where you're like, whoa, like it's on the story. I'm saying that was my biggest worry, because that's why I play Final Fantasy mainly for the story. I don't watch many films or TV shows because I get my stories from games.
Is it a very traditional Final Fantasy story?
Oh yeah, like
I mean, the movie was
princess. It's like it's all like thingy, but it's fine. It's very like fucking like, give us more.
Right. And the other question I had was, have you experienced any freezes or frame rates or like graphical glitches?
I haven't, but I've seen videos of them. But this is videos of people who've gotten the game early, and they haven't got the official day 1 patch.
Right,
there was one earlier. There was someone where they were in a room and Gladio was there, and Prompto bugged out, and he was on top of Gladio's head, and he was like, "Don't."
I love a good glitch.
But then that lasted 10 seconds, and then there was one off the Japanese demo that I seen someone upload where he went fishing, and when he chucked the rod, and then when he stopped fishing, all of a sudden the water had gone, and everything was just in the air, and there was like chairs floating on the ground. But this is like, that was the demo, and the patch that's live now, people are uploading bugs, but this is just a test patch.
Yeah.
Everyone's like getting it early and stuff like that, but just I haven't.
I reckon it's going to be a very heavily patched game.
It probably will, but you've got to think, right? In not giving them defense, because after 10 years, which isn't 10 years technically, but still after this amount of time, it should be polished to shit, right?
There's another topic in there. Should you be pre-ordering games before release? Does that not just give developers the thing like, we'll fix it?
No, this is my thing. Like, obviously, I've pre-ordered this, but I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. But I'm against the pre-order thing, because then you're just giving developers, and like, they've got the money, what they're worried about. That shows you that you're buying their game regardless, so they could release it. It's fucking shit. But once you've got it, what you're gonna do? You can't like return a game because it's.
No, we think Final Fantasy Square Enix are actually do that, because they've never got a track record of doing that.
No.
But I think visually it looks really impressive. But if you're not saying this on Uncharted, maybe with the HDR patches coming out for people who've got the standard.
That's the thing. I've seen a lot of people like on the demo, the Judgment Disc demo, the Japanese one, that had like the 4K availability and that. But I think it just depends on the quality of the TV. Like, some people were like, I've seen videos, but obviously you need a 4K monitor to view it to understand. Like, some people are judging it, watching it on a phone. That's like,
I know,
and I'm just like, you can't judge, you can't see it. It looks shit because you're not watching it in 4K. You're watching a 4K captured footage on a non-4K screen. So, but I'm sure it looks fucking fine. I've seen off-cam footage of it running on 4K, and it looked fucking like mint. But Anyway, back to some gameplay stuff. So, the battle system is awesome. You like sort of materialize your weapons. You get to pick up to 4 weapons. But and for most of the game, I've had like 3 in a spell, like kind of thing, equipped in my D-pad kind of thing. But you can use swords, broadswords,
so you can go
spears.
without a spell at all?
Oh yeah, you could just have 4. But
That's
how
not very fun,
they've done the magic, right, is really good. Anyway, I'll talk about the magic. Right, so Final Fantasy VIII, remember when you used to fight and you used to draw your magic from enemies?
Yeah.
And then you'd be able to use it. Well, this is, you're not drawing it from enemies, it's like points, and it's pretty much wherever there's a camp spot. There's like rocks with like elemental, like the orange is fire, yellow is lightning, and ice. You draw the magic out, and then you go to your spell menu, right, and you'll get 4 dots in a cross shape.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a really powerful fire spell, you'll put like, you can have up to 99 of your spell, so you put like 70 of fire in.
They never go to 100. Why it is?
So you put 70 fire in, then you'd have like, I can't remember exactly, but for example, you'd have like a fire spell with a potency of 70, and then you can add some ice in to knock it up to like 85 potency, and then a bit lightning, make it up to 100, and then you can even put items in. But sometimes doing that will make fire into Fyra, or Fyraga, or Farage, or whatever you say, or sometimes like you can make completely new spells and stuff.
That sounds like Luke should do some YouTube tutorials on that straight away.
I'll get on it.
Because that just sounds complicated as shit.
But it is pretty good, but then obviously, depending on where you use the spell, like if you use lightning next to your teammates, then they'll all hit the deck and start because you've wiped them. If you use ice near water, everything freezes over and into the enemy that was caught in it.
Okay.
But if you're close to it where you've cast it, you'll get frozen as well. Like it all blitzes up your clothes and like you get thingy. Fire, use that in the wild near your grass and trees. Everything's just up in a blaze. So if you throw it and thingy, you're gonna not even be able to attack it for a minute.
Right,
you just need to wait for the fire to calm down, kind of thing. So how they've done the spells is really good. The buddy moves is, if you played Arkham Knight, there's like, it's a bit similar to that where when you're fighting, you can press L1 and pick like a buddy move from one of your 3 teammates, and like if you've got Gladio, he'll come in and like spin the sword around and with his big sword and smack everything, and then you'll sort of jump in over the top and like with a spear and bang, spear them. Or Ignis, he's got his little daggers, and when he's doing it, he'll sort of chuck his little daggers at multiple enemies, target them all up. And then when it's your turn, you'll press circle, come in, and then every one of them enemies he's hit, you'll like boom, 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 teleport around.
Should that really be called a group attack?
Kind of, maybe, but I don't even think it's called buddy attack. That's what it's called in Batman.
We're coining it now. It's called buddy attack.
Buddy attack, buddy up, buddy move. There's a couple, but there's even somewhere like not even where you're calling them, where if you get a back attack on an enemy, or like a certain like angle on an enemy when you're fighting just randomly, there'll be bits where like little cutscenes will start where they'll get like swap weapons with each other and like back to back and fist bump, or there's one where Gladio like he'll he'll stand on his big sword and he'll chuck him in the air and then he'll come down.
Well, that's good though. If that's seamless, then that's great, because that's probably what Uncharted did really well. Was there's points where you don't even realise you're not actually doing anything, but you're still going, you're going crazy.
There's not so much of this in that, obviously, because the CG scenes in this are completely different to the game, but there is like, it's all seamless. There's the only time you really get a load time is between cutscenes, and it's fucking quick.
Is the menu noise really sexy?
The cling, cling, ding, ding. Yeah, it's quite nice. It's very standard Final Fantasy, neat, clean bips.
I love that noise.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else.
Am I going to constantly be pressing the wrong fucking buttons? It's actually accept.
For the first hour or so, not so much me, because I'm used to that kind of thing, but for someone who doesn't play JRPGs very often, get used to circle is your attack button, not square. Which for the first 10 minutes I'm used to, like if anyone's played The Witcher recently or anything, where square's your attack and circles your dodge. It's flipped on this. I haven't looked in the menu to see if you can switch the buttons. I'm guessing you can, but I like to just play games how they're meant to be played, kind of thing. But it sort of helps as well, like, because you warp strike, if you're locking onto something with R1 and then you press triangle, that's when you do, you like walk across the battle and get to it, kind of thing. So I don't know, it feels, once you're used to it, it feels pretty natural and good. I don't want to go into too much thing about it because I don't want to spoil anything. Like, I'm trying to go over, like, but if you haven't played a Final Fantasy before, right, this is the one to start with. This is like, because it's a completely new story, you don't have to play anything else. Everything's just like, it's a mint starting point to give you like what Final Fantasy is.
I mean, if you want to get hyped, I'd watch the film first.
It's not essential.
It's
but
not
if you watch the film Kingsglaive, wait till after the credits. There's like a hidden scene where it's over the top and you see them in the car. I shouldn't. That's spoiler. Spoiler alert. Where the car will break down, and then that's exactly how the game starts. End spoiler. But I played honestly.
To be fair,
if you,
it's not really a spoiler because I remember.
I was going to say it's been out ages now. If
you
you're
were
any
saying-
interesting, but if you're watching this, you should have seen the film really.
Yeah, because well, I mean, I remember them saying even before that movie was released, and they did some of the gameplay footage. Was it gameplay footage? And one of the guy who was commentating was I don't know, Japanese, Chinese guy,
Japanese.
I don't know. But anyway, Luke's offended. But they were saying they even said in that little snippet that that's exactly how the game starts. To the end of the movie is exactly how the game starts. It's not really a spoiler.
And that's another thing.
Don't
with
freak out.
The
But
day
it is
one
a
update that they're
beautifully CGI'd movie. It's ridiculous.
It is stunning.
Of all the films I've seen in just pure CGI, that is the most impressive one I think I've seen yet.
Very impressive.
And to be fair,
Some of the best action scenes I've seen in recent
when
years
when
as well.
does Square Enix never do a cutscene that doesn't look absolutely ridiculous?
But at the time, right, the film's amazing, right? It's beautiful. That even the anime that's on YouTube, the 5-episode anime.
Oh
which is-
yeah,
that's
I've not watched
that's
this.
good. But then when they announce all these things, I'm like, could this time just have been spent on making the game and getting that out a bit quicker, maybe?
Well, maybe yeah, but
I mean, once it's out, I was like, yeah, I'm glad they did it.
how much?
But at the time when
games
they
are
announced it, I'm just
developing,
get like,
you know what I mean?
you could have just not been doing this and just put the extra workforce in the game. But never mind, it's here. It's like the 27th we're recording this. It's going up on the 28th, and then the day after you got your game. And buy it. Honestly, it's fucking fantastic. An extra fucking fantastic. It's absolutely amazing. I
thought it was going to be a Final
I'm more
Fantasy
excited now
there, but
after having it for everybody else to have it, something to start talking about it to people and like hearing what other people have got to say about it.
it'd be interesting to see what other people who don't play or have never played any of them, they think, wow, that looks really cool. I'm going to give that a go. I wonder how many people actually have that opinion. Who would say, that looks ridiculous.
What I'm more interested
I'm going
is,
to play it.
like, I'm like
Dunno.
love Final Fantasy since like I was 7, right?
He's slightly biased in this, but
So I'm interested to see other people who like Final Fantasy as long as I am, and for people who don't like it, Final Fantasy fans who don't like this, and why? Because I'm a fan. It's the first action or like live action
I
game.
think it'll just be that whole thing with me.
Not live action,
Just,
like real time
Jumping
action.
into if they don't really see. I'm not a massive fan of anime, but I can watch anime. Like I can watch it. It's fine. I can enjoy it.
I usually
some I
watch
don't.
it
Some
if
I
it's
really
something,
do.
Like
You know
that
what I
I
mean?
think I like. I don't just
Yeah.
watch anime for the hell of it. Like
That's what I mean. But like, I think then people who have never experienced that at all, they're never going to buy this game. But I think what it's going to sell the game for people who aren't playing it or in anime or in any of the other Final Fantasy games in the series is how good it actually looks. I think that is his main target. I don't think it's a combat system
well as well.
or anything like that. I don't think it's anything to do with that because these people aren't going to know the difference. You know what I mean? They're going to know that they've done this because it's 2016 and it needs to be updated. They're just going to go, shit, that looks fucking mint. Same with that Spider-Man game. I reckon 99% of people are going to say, I'm going to fucking play that 1 because of Spider-Man 2 because it looks fucking mint. Like, graphically looks mint.
Like, you
I
know,
think the
I'm not
gameplay
a Marvel
probably
guy,
be
but I look
really
at that game
shit.
and I'm like,
I have a feeling the gameplay will be really shit and boring and generic and really repetitive, but because it looks fucking unbelievable, gonna play it. So, and it will wrap it up. Graphics out of 10, what would you give it?
I'm going to give it an 8, but after this amount of time it should have been a 10. But the graphics are really good, 8.
Storyline out of 10.
So far, because I'm only halfway through, so far I'm giving it 8.
It's shit. Right, then
8 is fucking
it's
mint.
I know,
I haven't
it's
finished.
mint.
I can't
I
give
know
something a
it-
10. I haven't finished.
I know, but it's just amazing you give something an 8 that you haven't finished.
Yeah, it's an 8. It's good. I've seen the
Right,
first half.
okay.
It's fucking fantastic. Right, 8. Next.
Yeah. So what we've done: story, graphics, and replayability. What do you reckon you give that out of 10? Would you say it's more likely that you're going to go back and explore them areas?
Because I've waited for it for so long. I'm
You
going, but
probably
I'm
would.
going to do this playthrough, and then I'm going back to do like a take me time playthrough kind of thing.
No,
And explore and enjoy it. But for someone who I'd give it a replayability a 10 because the areas are so big and there's going to be tons of stuff you can miss. I think every time someone restarts and goes back, you're going to find something new
Right. Okay.
or area or something. And battle, I'll give this one myself. I'm giving the battle system a 9.
A 9.
That is really good. There's a couple of animations that every now and then where I'm a bit like, looks a bit clunky. But it's very minimum, or minimal. But
yeah, but for all we know, that could be fixed with that day one patch.
It's a fresh take for Final Fantasy, like, and I think some of the animations, the whole disappear and reappear behind stuff and that, and you feel godly playing it, especially when you. I won't say that's a spoiler. Spoiler. But there's a certain thing
Catching
you get.
goddamn spoilers.
Actually, most people, if you played the episode Dusk Sky demo, there's an ability you have that you'll know from there that makes you like super god mode. But just when you're playing it, it's like fucking Jesus, this is class. You're popping in and out and shit in your hair and.
So overall, we've got good reviews of graphics. So
far,
games,
I'm not going to give it a score like biased. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. I haven't actually. I'm like 50% way through the game, but because myself, I'm giving it a 10. But I can't give it like a justified like realistic score. But honestly, it's fantastic. If you've never played Final Fantasy before, I think you'll love it. If you love Japanese or action games, you're gonna love it. If you like story-driven games, you'll love it. It's not to love. And if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you played it and you don't love it. Tell us why, because I'm interested.
In the
description,
angry place,
description, Twitters, Facebooks, like it all. Share, subscribe, even if you don't like it, and you want to just give hate. Your view counts too. That's all I'm bothered about. Your view.
Give me my money.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, as long as you're interacting. Thank you very much. This has been your Final Fantasy review,
and we'll catch all these spoilers. Toodle pips.
Bye.